Okay, so uh, hopefully we can finish the API part today. We
Yeah.
have few things left, so
Mhm.
let's see. So
Oh.
what we will do, so we'll create a separate controller for the portfolio router,
Mm-hmm.
because we actually did everything inside this router. So we'll clean this up, and
Mm-hmm.
after that we'll get all the portfolio for
Mm-hmm.
a user, and after that we'll get a single portfolio
Mm-hmm.
like the by the portfolio ID, like the details.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think, and yeah, so we can start. So
Okay.
first of all, so inside the controller folder we will create another file like portfolio
Mm-hmm.
controller.js. After that we will create it, create an object and export it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just close it and open it again. It's maybe something went wrong here. Still not. Okay, so after that, in the portfolio router, so we'll first of all let's try cut this thing and use it here. Let's see. Say home, put it over here, and import the portfolio dot home, and let's try that this thing is working or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so cd into backend. Okay, so so this was our API in the port folder. So we'll write, let's say, get all portfolio for a user, and for now we'll just try this thing. So it's showing that not a valid user because we have not logged in. So if we just go in the user auth and click on user login, let's try this. It's showing the user logged in successfully and the cookie is set here. Now
Mm-hmm.
if we try this, it's showing the portfolio working. So
Okay.
yeah, we can implement the all the fetching all the portfolio here. So
Yeah.
we'll do that later.
Mm-hmm.
First, let's clean this up. So
Mm-hmm.
after that, we will create a add portfolio function inside here. So let's add, let's say only add, and we can take everything. And here we need to write portfolio controller dot add, and we need to import some of the things. So this is a helper. So we need to import this. Then this Prisma client. So we can just do things from here. Prisma client, Prisma client, then the response. So yeah, after that, so the delete thing. So let's cut everything from here and we'll put it over like delete, then paste it here. And does it require anything? Folio? No. Okay, so after that, import it here, portfolio dot delete. So now the update. Prisma client. So can now remove this thing like helper, Prisma client, etc. And here we will write portfolio controller dot update. One thing we can add like get a portfolio by ID. So it will be like this. The router will be, so the URL would be the localhost 2727/portfolio/ this will be the portfolio ID. So we will accept this ID as a parameter. That's why we give a colon here. So for accepting that, we will give a colon like ID. So like this way. After that, we can actually access this ID from our controller. So we will show that like get one, let's say the function name we will implement over here. So after the home, so we'll implement like get one, and here actually we can get that parameter like params equal request dot params. So this ID will be automatically available inside this request dot params, and from this params we can actually do like this params dot ID. So this will give us the portfolio ID. Okay. And for the simplicity, we can actually do like this, just only the ID, and just destructure the ID from this request.param. Now if we just try to check that it's working or not, we can just console log or send along with the response that it's working or not. So let's try this thing also. Here in the portfolio, let's say get one portfolio by ID. And if you just put it, as you can see, this path variable will automatically get this key, and you just need to put the ID of the portfolio. So if you just check inside our database, so in the portfolio database, the portfolio, so we have a portfolio along with the ID is one. So we can just check here, like give one and try it. So it's giving us some error. Portfolio.get one. Let's try it again. Invalid. Oh, there is two extra slash. Yeah. So now, as you can see, the one portfolio, the ID is available over here. Okay.
Yeah.
So the ID. So using this ID, we will actually fetch the data from our database later. Okay. So this is how actually, if you want to give a parameter from URL, you can actually give this way. Okay. So that's one thing. Another thing is let's say, okay. So we'll talk about that later on. When we'll fetch all the portfolio, that time we'll talk about that thing. Okay, let's implement it fast, then we'll see. So for that, we need Prisma, this client, and after that we can get a single portfolio like client dot portfolio dot get, or what was the things like find unique, because we are going to filter by this ID, and ID is unique thing. And after that, inside this we can press pass where, and inside the where we can pass ID, then colon our ID, the ID passed by the URL or the user, by the user. So after that we get the single portfolio, and we can actually pass this kind of response from here like this way, and we can say the portfolio gets successfully and get this single portfolio over here. And we will later on we will wrap this thing inside try and catch block, so that if there is an error we can catch that thing. So for now, let's try this thing. So it's showing that portfolio gets successfully, but there is nothing. So let's see why. Let's console it. The port. Okay, it's Now try, it's showing that okay, so we did not give the await here, and we
Yeah.
also put here async because it will communicate with the database, so it will take some time. It will be an asynchronous process. So if I just try it now, so we get some error. Let's see. So got valid invalid value 1. As you can see, it's showing that it's expecting an integer value, but we are
Yeah.
passing here the string. That's why we need to parse it. So parse int into id. So after that, now if we try, so now we get our portfolio back. So if there is, let's say 2, we don't have any portfolio, so it's giving null. So what we can do now, so we can wrap the whole thing into a try catch block and throw the error. Put it over here, and if this is null, if single portfolio equal null, then we will throw new error like portfolio not available. And let's pass the response. And we have an error here now, and portfolio get, we can say like the same message we're getting from here, like e.message. And here we can just pass null. Now if we try again, so we'll get error equal true. The message we give, the custom message portfolio not available, and the response is null.
No.
So the message we will put over here, it will be available. Okay, so this is how actually we will collect or fetch only single portfolio.
Yeah.
So we can just get the single one, and then we can actually save this response. Why actually it will be easy for us to see when we will develop our front end. So then we don't, that time we don't need to actually go to our API and then send the request again. So we can just save this as example. So that we can see this response later.
Yeah.
Okay. So after that, so we'll work on here, like, so we'll get all the portfolio for the user who is already logged in. Okay. So we'll do that. So for that, we know that the user will be available, the user ID will be available inside our ID request.id that we set from our middleware, like this auth middleware, as you can see here, right?
Yeah.
So in the previous session, we did this thing. So we can get the user ID from here, and let's test it that this is actually working or not. Okay, so let's pass this thing along with the response. And after that, if we just test it in the home router, or we can just give this as a get all, because we are actually we'll be facing all the portfolio for this user. So we can rename this as well as here. So get all. Now if we just try here, or we can just use this one for now. But so the URL will be http:// localhost 7, then portfolio. So it will ask for login. So we need to do like another request for the login. So now here, copy this thing. In the body, we can pass this JSON, and yeah, it should be post request for the login. So it's logged in now. And if you just try this, as you can see, the portfolio working and it's giving 17, the user ID. Okay. So now based on this user, we can actually get all the portfolio for that particular user. Okay.
Yeah.
So inside the get all, so what we will do, so we will actually get the user ID and do the same thing like here. So we can copy the whole thing. And here instead of ID, we will be using our user ID. And in the single portfolio, we will get actually all portfolio. And from here, find unique. So we'll find many actually, not unique. Okay. and here we will actually put this user ID as a parse int, because user ID is also an integer value. So, and from here is all portfolio. So we'll just first console log it, check what it we are getting back. All, let's say. After that, we will pass this all portfolio here also. If there is an error, we will catch this thing here. So also we can log it like error. Now let's try this. So here, if we just do this, okay, we get an error showing that, okay, we need to make it async. That's one thing. Let's try now. Okay, so we get portfolio get successfully, but it's an empty array. So let's see. Find many. User is 17 user ID. So okay, so we're actually trying to filter by ID. That's why actually we are getting nothing. But we need to actually filter by user ID. That's the issue. Okay. So now if we just try it, we should get back our portfolio, as you can see, and we are getting back an array. So if there is multiple portfolio, we will get back from here. So we'll add another one and we'll test that thing. But let's just do some verification here, like this way. So we can say like, so if the all portfolio, we know this will be an array, so we can just check the length or the size. Yeah, length. If this is 0, then we know that there is actually no portfolio available. That time actually we'll throw an error. So now if you just try, so we will not get the error because we have actually already one portfolio. So you can just delete it for now to see that the error is working or not. So if we just do it, as you can see, we get error equal true and portfolio not available again. And in the response, we can actually give like, instead of null, we can just give empty array because there is no portfolio we know. So I can give like this way. Okay. Okay, so we are getting no portfolio. And after that, we can just add some more portfolio to check that multiple portfolio is coming or not. For that, if you just go inside our add portfolio here, and this is the portfolio 1, so we'll just add it. It's showing not a valid user, so let's log in first. So after login, so added one portfolio, add 1, and after that, let's add portfolio 2, description 2, and just do it again. So we get portfolio 2. Now if we just try here, so as you can see, we get our multiple portfolio back. Okay. So yeah, so this is the basic thing actually that we are doing, like, so here. So what we did till now, as you can see from the first, so we set up the Prisma and the Prisma client, then the Express, and then separate our router, different router. Let's say user router, then portfolio router, and we define the sign up or using bcrypt, then this one web token. So we did this thing. Then we set up the middleware for the cookie, handling the cookie. Then after that, we did some router like is logged in, the user is already logged in or not, this type of things. And then we did like logout router. Then we create our middleware for verify that the user is already logged in or not, or define our private router using this. And after that, we do all the portfolio tasks like add portfolio, update, delete, and get all the portfolio or get a single portfolio, this thing. And another thing is I actually want to mention that will help you in future. Like, let's say this was our actually schema, that the user and the portfolio. So let's say you edit something here. Okay. Then actually this schema actually based on this schema, actually two things will happen. So one thing will be this database will be changed based on this schema, and as well as the Prisma client that we are using inside our controller. As you can see, this client, this will be also changed based on this schema. So let's say whatever you change something here, let's say we did like another model like category, let's say for now. So let's say we have a model like category, and it will have a ID and have a title, category title, let's say. And let's say you did some changes here. So after that, what you will do, so you need to do two things, but we can create a script for the two things. So as you can see, we need to migrate this thing so that this changes is reflected inside our database. So there's the migrate thing here. So we need to do this thing, as well as we need to do like Prisma generate so that this changes also available inside our client. Okay. So to do this thing separately, instead of doing this thing separately, we can actually do like create another script, like let's say Prisma update, and here we can actually write npm, then run, then these two scripts like Prisma migrate, and after that end, giving end. As well as you will just write whatever you write inside our console. So you write the same thing, then you will write Prisma generate, and you will write npm run again. So we'll actually running these two scripts using a single script. Okay. So we have done the changes. Let's see if this script is working or not. So we'll write, let's close the server and write npm run p update. Let's see. So it's showing that, as you can see, the migration is done. This is the migration. So your database is now synced with your schema. So database is this database is synced with this schema now. And after that, as you can see, the generated Prisma client. So the new client is generated based on this schema again. So now in the client, if we just check, let's say in the portfolio, let's say in the portfolio controller. So if we just see here now in the client dot, if you give dot, as you can see, we get, it should, okay, we have not got the category yet, but it should get. Okay, let's check the database first. So as you can see, the category is available here. Okay,
Yeah.
the IT and title. Now let's see what the issue with the client. The client dot, okay, the category is not available. Let's run the generate again if it's not working. So this thing pre-generate npm run p generate. Showing that there is a category. Okay, it's not working. Let me just search on Google. Let's see. Okay, as you can see, whenever you make changes to Prisma schema in future, you manually need to invoke Prisma generate. So we just did it in order to actually do this thing, but I don't know why it's not working. Let's see. Okay, let's close and open it. Let's see. Let's try on our server.js file. Let's see. Constants require as you can see, it's available now. Okay, maybe the ID is actually caching the client, that's why actually it's not working. So I just restarted it, so it's fixed the problem. Okay, the portfolio user, it was previously there, and now we got the category that is coming from this new schema. So I was just showing that whenever you changes something here, so you need to do these two things, like this migrate thing and then generate thing. Okay, so and we can just combine this thing here like using another script. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, so yeah, this is, now let's remove the unnecessary code from here.
So now that is available in this.
Yeah. So we can also actually test it, like create a new actually router and do some category stuff. Let me just show you instead of talking.
Okay.
So in the router, let's say we will create a category router. Category router.js. So here, so we'll do similar like this portfolio. You can just copy this. And here, so we'll create a category controller for this. So go there and we'll create category controller.js, and here again, so we'll do actually similar like this. So we can just copy this, rename this thing. Instead of portfolio, it will be category, and this thing we need to modify, so we'll do this thing later, but for now let's just work on this add so that we can see that the category is added or not successfully or not. So for adding a category we need only a title,
Yeah.
I think. So
Yeah,
I'll
only
skip
title.
that. Yeah, only title.
Title only.
So yeah, so we'll take only title here from the requested body, and after that the category actually doesn't need any user ID, so we don't need it. And after that we can just validate the title. So if everything is fine, then we'll create a client, and after that instead of portfolio we'll create a category, and here instead of portfolio we'll write a category. As you can see, we get our category as a suggestion, and after that in create, so inside that data we'll pass only the title.
Yeah.
And after that we get back our category, we can just send it back as a response, and so this should work. And after that we can export this, and now we can use it inside our category router. So instead of portfolio router we'll write category controller. Sorry, instead of category portfolio controller we will use category controller. So after that, so actually this router will not work for now, so we can just comment them. And here category controller dot at. So now if we, and what you need to do is this, you need to attach this category router with our this application. So for that, so we'll copy this line, the same, and here instead of portfolio we'll give a prefix like category. And this will be also a private router because we don't want that somebody come and create category. So, and the URL should be category router. And now if we just try, and we also need to update this portfolio from here, it should be category everywhere, the URL. And here let's try to add a category. So here let's do it here. So user done, portfolio done, then let's say another folder like category. Category, add a post request, and as a body we will pass the title only. So we can just put it over here like category 1, let's say. And if we just try, our server is not running actually, so let's run it again. Now if we try, it's showing that category created successfully. So the same thing we did like now for the portfolio, now for the category, so we get the category. Okay, so this is how actually if you have multiple model inside our Prisma, so you will do the same way. So first of all you will create the model here inside the Prisma. After that you will run those two commands like that, generate, and then the sync with this database. And after that you can just will create a router here from the router. So you will define whatever endpoints you need. After that, so you will create a controller. So inside the controller, you will actually do all the functionality with the database, like insert in database, get things from the database, that thing. And whenever you're done with that, so you will actually take this category router and go inside your application and attach it with a prefix. So after that, you can actually access everything from this prefix. Okay. So this is actually the overall thing. So and if you want, then we can actually add a more feature like, so we can add this category along with this portfolio. Like we can say like this portfolio, this one category will have a multiple portfolio, and each portfolio will like single category. So if you want, we can also implement this thing. So should I do it?
We can do it, but I have one question.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it's regarding the difference between because this is my feeling. I don't know about it.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Is it
Tell me.
secure to make these backend APIs in JavaScript instead of like application like a Laravel or something?
Okay, so the thing is that the security is actually not related to actually I think language. Though what I actually understand, that I'm talking based on that. Okay, so the thing is that, so let's say if you are building a API using Laravel, so what
Mhm.
it will do, so you actually need to do this kind of same thing. So the main security thing is this thing, like, so you handle this private routing this
Yeah.
properly or not. Okay,
No, no, no,
so
no. My question, sorry, but my question is because when we are, for example, interacting with the Laravel or a PHP API,
okay,
fine. So what we do is like we send a request, and the
okay,
PHP at the back end processes something, and it generates some result for you, for response for you, and you
yeah,
receive that response.
yeah.
So in that case, like you never see the PHP files or PHP code. Is it the same thing here? Like in JavaScript, we never see the code because many times I have seen people using like JavaScript files. You click on the link and you can go to that file.
Oh, okay, okay. I understand your point now. Okay, let me show you.
Yeah,
So thing is that, so actually in Java, the PHP is actually a server-side language. Okay, so it's
yeah,
only used in the server side. Okay,
yeah,
but
yeah.
if you talk about JavaScript, actually it can use in both the client side and the server side. Okay,
Okay.
so let me show you that. Let me give you an example. Like, so if you want to let's say use in the client side. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that time actually you know about the jQuery, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so jQuery, then the modern like React, then
Mm-hmm.
Next.js, this
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing actually are the client side JavaScript. Okay,
Okay.
so this thing actually you can just, okay, let me just give you example here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so this web page. Okay, so if you just inspect it, and then if you just go inside the storage, not in the storage, let me just see where it is.
In the application, I think.
Hmm. Okay, we can just go here. As you can see, if you just select the JavaScript and just reload it,
Mm-hmm.
as you can see, these are all JavaScript. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
.js, SQL.js, runmode.js, showhin.js, these
Mm-hmm.
type of things actually are the front thing. As you can see, the jQuery is also here. Okay, these
Mm-hmm.
are actually client side JavaScript. This can be accessible by the user, or you
Mm-hmm.
can see the anybody in the world. Okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what these things are doing, these are actually helping you to interacting with this web page. Let's say you click on here, then this something will happen. Let's say you click on here, and then this, if you hover on it, this pop-up will open. Okay, so this
Mm-hmm.
type of things actually handled by this client side JavaScript. Okay, there's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. And
Mm-hmm.
if you talk about the backend JavaScript, that time
Mm-hmm.
actually you have like backend, we have node.js. Okay, this is a
Yeah.
different
Mm-hmm.
thing. Node.js actually it's not a library or something, it's actually a runtime environment. So it's
So
actually an environment.
Node.js is never used on the front end.
No, no, no.
Oh.
It will never be used in frontend. So it is
Uh-huh.
just an environment
Uh-huh.
where you can actually run JavaScript as a server-side language. Okay, that's the thing.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
run PHP, right?
Mhm.
So PHP will compile on its own environment. So
Yeah.
this Node.js is another environment where actually instead of PHP we will write a JavaScript. Okay,
So that
there's the
means the
thing.
logics and everything we are
Yeah,
always
yeah,
using in the back end.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
So
front end
it's
is only for fetching the data and
yeah,
displaying
yeah,
the data.
yeah. The React thing and the Next.js thing, everything, these are the front end, and everybody can see. Everybody can't see the exact code, but they
Mhm.
can actually see this kind of files. Okay, so if
But
you just
I have seen that people are saying that they can use Next.js even as a backend.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's say Next.js actually a framework, and if you talk, let me just give you example again that
Yeah.
React actually a library. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
just a library like jQuery. Okay, so
Yeah.
previously people were using jQuery, and now when the React come, then people are using React. Okay, so
Yeah.
React is just a library, but
Mm.
what Next.js is does, Next.js is using React,
Mm.
they build their own framework. Okay, so
Okay.
framework means it can handle actually everything. So it can
Mhm.
handle, it has a framework is similar like Laravel actually, which
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
actually full feature like the backend feature, then the front end feature, actually
Yeah.
everything. Okay,
Mhm.
so there's the difference between actually Next.js and the React. Actually,
Okay.
Next.js is using React to build its functionality and enable its more functionality. Okay. That's the thing.
So that means in React, we cannot create a backend.
No. We cannot create backend. We just
Okay. So that
access
means
this
like
API
when we
and
want
the
to
data.
work only with React, so at that time we should use Node.js as the backend and
Yeah.
React
That's
as
the
the front end.
yeah.
But in
So it's
Next.js, we can use Next.js as full stack.
yeah. We can use Next.js as a full
Okay.
stack.
So we
But
will
most
do
of the
like,
case,
in next, like after this project, once we complete, then we
yeah.
will do a project in Next.js as backend and front end as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can do that. But
Yeah,
let me just tell you one thing that
yeah.
okay, so in the React, so it actually doesn't matter that you build the API using Node.js or Laravel. It doesn't matter. So you just
Yeah,
need this endpoint, so you can
yeah.
actually fetch the data and you can
Yeah.
show in the using this React. Okay, that's the thing. And for
Mhm.
the Next.js, it's actually the same thing. And what it's give you extra is in the Next.js, I think you see that inside the pages folder,
Yeah.
so inside the pages folder, there is a folder like API.
Mm,
You see
mm,
it right inside the Next.js.
mhm.
Okay. So what it will give you? So inside the API, this API actually is not similar to this. Okay, the express thing. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So how this will work? Actually, I don't know you know heard about like serverless or something like this. AWS serverless, AWS Lambda. So
Mhm.
you heard about them?
Yeah, I've heard about
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
but I don't know much about it.
I am telling you. So let me explain you what they is doing. So in
Mhm.
the AWS Lambda, what it is does, so they will give you option to create a function, a simple function. Okay.
Mhm.
So like similar this function, and
Mhm.
what this function will do, so you can actually um, send request to this function. Okay,
Mhm.
and that this function will give you some response like
Mhm.
this thing. Let me show you inside our controller. So let's say this is our function. Okay. So this is a single function as you can see. Okay. So
Mhm.
uh, AWS what give you this thing is like okay. So what AWS is doing, AWS is giving you a option to create this type of function,
Mhm.
and where we can actually give you request and you can get back the response. Okay.
Mhm.
So they will not give you like this kind of router and stuff. They will just give you option for creating a function, and
Yeah.
actually you can listen to this function to a particular endpoint or like something like that. Okay. So this is
Mhm.
how actually AWS Lambda work. The
Okay.
same thing is happening actually in this API. So
Mhm.
API inside this API folder actually, so you can like create a hello.js. Okay,
Mhm.
this kind of file, and
Mhm.
after inside this file, actually you just need to like do like export, then default, then actually an arrow function,
Yeah.
and from here if you just return something, let's say
Mhm.
string, this string will be actually and as a response, act as a response. Like the endpoint would be like this, like your domain.com/ this API URL,
Mhm.
and after that, whatever the file name is, like hello.js, so we will write hello.
Mhm.
So after that, this will actually give you like SSS as a response. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
actually Next.js is work like this way. So inside the API folder, whatever file you created, those
Mhm.
file will be automatically our this kind of router. What
Yeah.
we did here. Okay. So
Uh-huh.
for the biggest project, or let's say if you have a complex project, actually that time actually most of the case Next.js also don't use actually the this API option. So most
Mhm.
of the case we use Next.js as like React, but
Mhm.
Next.js has some other functionality in the front end, like it will help you to do the SEO stuff, and it will
Uh-huh.
easy
Uh-huh.
to actually Google to read your data actually.
Yeah.
Also we can do like server side rendering, and React actually doesn't support server side rendering. So
Mhm.
for this kind of facility, we are actually use Next.js instead of React. Okay.
Mhm.
But
Mhm. Okay.
whenever we need to build the API, so
Mhm.
most of the time we are using Laravel or this kind of Node.js project. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll use this
So
same API
generally,
inside our Next.js
Next.js can
project.
do it,
Yeah.
but it is not
Yeah.
recommended. It's
Yeah.
better to use Node
The
if you
separate
want to
thing.
have
Yeah.
JavaScript, or otherwise Laravel
You
and
can
PHP
Laravel. Yeah.
APIs we
So
have right
whatever
now.
actually, whatever technology actually we build the API on that thing. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's the
fine,
thing.
fine,
But
fine.
let me tell you that why actually we are not recommending this thing, because
Mm-hmm.
let's say now inside our router, there's a portfolio router. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have like one endpoint, two endpoint, three, four, five. Let's say five endpoint. So
Mm-hmm.
what you need to do for in terms of Next.js, so you need to create 5 files here. Okay.
Uh,
Let's say one file for home.js,
you
then
cannot have like
so on. Yeah.
various endpoints in one file.
Yeah. That's only a single function, as you can see in
Okay,
the
okay, okay,
like the
okay,
AWS Lambda like similar thing. Okay. So that's
okay.
actually we don't do these things like inside this API. we do create our separate this API, and then we just connect it.
You are most of the time when you are creating the applications, the backend which you're using
Yeah.
is only a Node.js.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
And after
Fine.
that, we just connect this. So if the client want like React.js project, then we will connect it with the React.
Yeah.
And if we just want in the Next.js, then the Next.js project. And
Oh,
another thing I just missed, that is thing like, so if you just do it like in this way, that will be easier for you actually integrate this API with the mobile application or any other application. Okay, so that's
yeah.
the other benefit. And
Uh-huh.
this will also work, but actually it's not actually better
Yeah,
solution.
it's
Okay,
not better.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think with mobile applications also, like I have seen many applications being created while using Laravel as backend, and
yeah.
React Native is the front end
Yeah.
in mobile applications.
So yeah, the same thing actually. This is React is for the OF.
Mm-hmm.
Then Next.js is using React,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also using in the OF. And after that, that React Native is actually similar to React, but actually it's for the mobile. Okay, so that's the
So,
thing.
so that means when we talk about the full stack developer who can develop the applications for mobile as well as the web applications. So that means like if that person knows Node,
Yeah,
React, and for
React Native.
example, React Native. So
So he
that
can
person
build
is like
everything.
capable of creating the full stack application.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and first thing is that if you know React, then the learning React Native is like a about like 1 week. So you can actually learn React Native is very much similar to React.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so similar like Next.js. So if
Okay.
you know React, the Next.js is easy. So if you know
Yeah.
React, then React Native is also easy. So
Yeah.
the main thing is React. So if you know this thing, then you can
Yeah.
actually shift to anything. Okay,
And
there's the thing.
anything.
And that's why actually the JavaScript and React is more popular. Like if you just learn one thing, then you can actually build everything. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Fine.
So yeah.
Okay.
So where we was like, so yeah, so we can
You are
actually
at,
connect this category to our portfolio.
yeah.
And after that, we are actually done with, will be done with our portfolio. And actually we can connect this API inside our Next.js project, so
Yeah.
that actually we can get the data from here and actually build something like in
Yeah.
the front end. Okay, so
Yeah.
that will be our task.
Yeah.
So we have some time. Let's try to connect this thing with the portfolio. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the relation would be with the portfolio is like, so one portfolio will be belong to one mini portfolio will be belong to one category. So
Mm-hmm.
each portfolio will have a category ID, like this kind of user ID.
Mm-hmm.
So we can fetch the multiple portfolio using user ID as well as using the category ID. Okay, so that's the thing. So we'll just copy this thing, same thing, the relation, and we'll use it like cat ID here for the category ID, and
Mm-hmm.
this will be category, and the model will be also category. And here the field is the cat ID, because this is the reference field for the category
Yeah.
field, and the reference from this table is ID. So there's the ID. Now if you just hit save, it will automatically actually added a field inside this category block. As you can see, like as you can see, it's
Yeah.
available here, like.
Yeah.
So it will help you. So our relation is done. So we have made some changes in this file. So what we need to do, we need to do the same thing, like
Yeah.
npm run, then p minus update. I think that was the script. Yeah, so p minus update. So if we just
Mm-hmm.
do it now again, and it's we get some error. So it's showing that uh Prisma schema db MySQL database at localhost 330 host stop 0 requires column. Okay, so we can just remove it this category from here to prevent the things. Just delete it, because there was actually
Yeah.
already an thing and you are just trying to add a new column. That's why it's,
Yeah.
I think, giving an error. So you just delete this thing, drop this table. So drop this table. Now if we try it again, or if we just do it, yes. So the migration is the generating, Prisma client is generating, working.
Mm-hmm.
So now if we just check that if everything is working or not, so get our category with ID and title,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get our portfolio along with the title,
And
description,
the
image
cat
URL,
ID.
user ID, and the category ID also, as you can
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
And this is our user as it is. So
Mm-hmm.
now if we just
And how
do
do
that,
you handle in JavaScript the many to many categories,
yeah,
like
we
many
can
to
also
many
do that like
entities?
this way. Let me show you. So yeah, we create another table that actually take the
table,
ID
pivot
from
table.
this and then this
Yeah,
thing. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
and actually Prisma makes it actually more easier. Let's say, and let me just show you an example. Like let's say, and we have a table model like what should be the many-to-many relation?
Many to many can be some tags, for example.
Okay, so the text, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
so in the tag there will be an ID and title again, and this text should be for the portfolio. Let's say each portfolio will have many tag and
And the
for
tags can have many portfolio.
many portfolio. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for that, let's say we can do like this, like um, text. Okay, the thing is that as you can see, the portfolio can have many tags. So it's just in simple JavaScript like a tag array,
Mm-hmm.
and in the tag, so one tag can have many portfolio like simple JavaScript, same thing. So after that, let's just try.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's check over here. So in the portfolio, so refresh it. So in the tag, ID title in the portfolio, as you can see, we get another table here, like so the
Portfolio
portfolio
and
to
tag.
text. So
Yeah.
actually, it will automatically create this table for you. Okay, so you don't need to
Okay.
do anything. Okay, that's
Okay.
the thing.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how actually we can also do
Handle
this
many to many.
many-to-many related.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for now, let's focus on this category attached with this portfolio.
Yeah. Okay.
So for that, what we'll do, so we'll go this category here. So we have created the category. So, and one thing we need to modify like now. So whenever we create a category, we create a portfolio, we need to attach the category ID with it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for that, we go here and we get like cat ID from the user, which category we want to put this portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, you can validate it also here. And inside the create, so we'll give like,
Cat ID.
okay, it's not here. Like, let's just restart it again. As you can see, now it's available like this cat ID. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll just take this and we'll put our cat ID here.
Yeah.
Now this portfolio will be attached with the category.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the add, then delete, we don't need to change anything. So the update also, we can actually change the category if you want.
I don't think so. We don't need it. Like it
Okay,
is just
so
for the knowledge. Like, it's fine.
yeah,
We can
okay,
use the
so
same
yeah,
principle everywhere.
okay. So get one like this thing, it also, let's test this category option now. So add portfolio. So if I just see, do we have any category created already? No. So we'll just first create the category.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this on the category one. Let's, okay, so run the server.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to log in again. So this is the user login. Oh, user doesn't exist. So let's sign up. We already logged in. Now we'll add a portfolio, and here we'll pass the cat ID. The
One.
ID should be one.
Mm-hmm.
So in the category, it's not created yet. Okay, let's create the category first. So yeah, it's created. Now we'll just in that portfolio and put cat ID one. Now if you just try it, it's showing that cat ID is added. Now if you just go in the portfolio, you can see that category ID was one, and if we just hover over it, you can see that category ID is showing, and also the username is also showing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's attaching. Now actually we can just filter out inside our category router. So if you just go inside category router, so you can get all the portfolio for a single category, like doing this way. So you can just do like create a code, category controller, then go to add all, and here we can just, instead of getting um, the user ID, so we'll get the cat ID, and to get this cat ID we can actually get it from like, so let's say the ID. So we'll get the ID from the user like this way. And here actually we don't need this thing because uh, we hardly need like a single category details. So we can just omit this thing for now, and if needed we can actually create this thing. So we'll just put a category ID here, and we'll fetch all the portfolio from this. So we get our category ID, and after that we'll filter like using this like cat ID, and instead of user ID we'll put the cat ID here. And same thing, this will be the same portfolio, the same thing. Like now let's test it, it's working or not. So these are the thing. So inside the category we will create a new request like get all portfolio for a category. Now if we just give the category ID like 1, so we get like the portfolio along with this category. Okay. Okay, so this is how actually we can do. And this is the adding, then this is the thing, and we don't actually need this kind of delete and other things for now. So another thing I think we can do, let me check. Yeah, so we can do another thing, like as you can see in the response, so we don't get actually the user information here, we just get the one. Okay. So let's say we want to join this portfolio table along with this user ID. So we'll get this username, let's say something like that. Okay. So how we can do that? So we can do like this way. After this where we'll do like include. Okay. So and after that it will be another object. And let's say we want to get all details from this user. We can give this user, and after that we can type like select, and we can type like username, let's say, and also the ID. Okay, so let me check it's working or not. Okay, so we need to pass here true, I think. Now let's try it. As you can see, we get the user back. Okay. So we can actually do this joining using this include. Okay. So that's the thing we may need. That's why you can do. And whenever actually if we just do this text thing also, we add some text. That time actually we can do like after user, we can do like text, and we can just we can select again from the text, and we can, let's say, get the title. Okay, so we can title, then keep true. Okay, so if there is text, so it will be also available here. As you can see, it's empty now because we don't have any text. Okay, so this is how you can actually join the table. Okay. Okay, so this is actually all the things. So now actually we are actually finished. So while we are building the front-end application, if we need some changes, so we can just come back and do some modification if we need. Okay. So
Fine.
from the next session, we can actually start working on the NodeJS project. Okay.
Fine.
Okay, great.